All right, everyone, I'm coming to you from the Brazilian Embassy in Washington, D.C., and we're here because I had the privilege of attending a ceremony honoring one of Brazil's most prolific and influential philosophers, Olavo de Carvalho. In fact, I know many of you on the channel are big fans of the new president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, but you may not know that the think tank, the Acton Institute, described the person sitting next to me as, quote, the intellectual maverick behind Brazil's conservative wave. You're a maverick. Do you know that term, maverick?
Yes.
Yeah, you're an outlaw. Who reshaped the Brazilian political discussion in ways that cleared an intellectual path for Bolsonaro's electoral victory, close quote. And last night he received an honorific known as the Order of Rio Branco, which is one of Brazil's highest honorifics bestowed by the president. And he's been kind enough to give us some time here to chat about everything true, good, and beautiful, and world civilization, and the like, and to share very influential views that are even changing Brazil as we speak, as well as the world in many respects. So Olavo de Carvalho, thank you so much for being here. Very appreciated.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to start off by just asking you about your background, how you got involved in philosophy. What was the pathway from your philosophical, intellectual life all the way to influencing a president of Brazil?
Well, I was never interested in any academic disciplines. First thing that attracted my interest was human suffering. I was raised in a very poor district in São Paulo, and I saw suffering and failure everywhere. Huh?
Yeah.
And I asked, why does this happen?
Right. The fundamental question of philosophy,
philosophy
is why,
was one of the instruments,
yeah.
just one of the instruments I used to investigate this and try to understand this, and then try to help people also. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
But the first thing that interested me, the first instrument I used was not philosophy, it was literature, especially the novel. I read thousands of novels. And later I meditated about this, and I read Aristotle that said that poetry, as he called it, poetics, is models of possible human lives. And this helped me a lot when I started studying philosophy.
Reminds me of G.K. Chesterton, who said, we read the Iliad because life is a battle.
Yes.
Right, the Odyssey because life is a journey.
And now I really believe that real culture is literary culture, because only literary language you have this variety of meanings.
Right.
The subtle of meanings.
Right.
In scientific language you don't have it. Right. Every word has a fixed and a stable meaning.
It's very flat.
So science can be very difficult, but scientific language is easy. A stupid guy can learn scientific language.
Yeah. A brain surgeon is a mechanic.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But so I believe in order to have access to high culture, we have to start with literary formation, literary education. If possible, in many different languages.
Right. Yeah, it reminds me too of when Jesus is asked, who is my neighbor? He doesn't quote from a dictionary, or he doesn't give statistics show that. He starts with once upon a time. He tells a story.
Sure. Yeah. Jesus never uses scientific language.
Right.
Or philosophical language.
Right. You know, there's just something about the fact that a story awakens our moral imagination to life, as it is, yeah. What you mentioned last night in your speech, wonderful speech, and Nestor Forster before you.
Wonderful.
I think that should be the forward of all your books.
Yes.
It was such a beautiful summary, and I believe he's actually going to put it up on the embassy website or something akin to that in English. It was wonderful. But you mentioned the role of the philosopher, the ideal role of the philosopher in a flourishing human society. I mean, we're living in a time where there's a lot of confusion, which you've diagnosed brilliantly. But what is that role? For you, what is the role of a philosopher in a society that aids to helping people in human flourishing?
I only understood this when I have been reading the classical book of Julius Stenzel, Plato as an Educator. And he said that according to Plato, philosophy and education are the same thing.
Right.
And then I understood what is philosophy. And I define philosophy as the search for the unity of knowledge in the unity of consciousness, and vice versa.
Nice, yeah.
So you form your consciousness as you look, as you try to find the unity of knowledge. This unity is unattainable, of course, it's utopic.
Right.
So it has to be researched again and again and again,
Right.
each new generation. And this effort is philosophy.
Right, yes, yeah. And rooted in thawma, right? Wonder.
Sorry?
Or it's rooted in this sense of
Yes,
wonder and awe.
yes.
It's so different than scientific knowledge. It's rooted in doubt and skepticism.
I believe the finality of philosophy is not to create doctrines, but to create philosophers.
Yeah.
Create men who are able to go on with this permanent effort of the search for unity of the knowledge and the unity of consciousness.
Yeah.
When I gave this definition, this is not a philosophical definition. This is a scientific definition, because I look precisely what all the philosophers do, independent of the content of the specific philosophy.
Right.
And so what the guy need to do in order to be a philosopher, he needs to do precisely this.
Right.
So if you ask about Heraclitus or Parmenides or Heidegger or even Jean-Paul Sartre, all of them are looking for the unity of knowledge in the unity of their consciousness. It's not the unity of knowledge in itself, but in the human consciousness.